Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Karen Palka, and I'll be speaking with Andrew Kercher. Today's show is sponsored by Lake Huron Medical Center. Welcome, Andrew, to Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me.
So there's lots of things going on with the museum, and there's something coming up that I think that we all want to come and see. What is it?
Yeah, so we have, that's a great question, because we have a lot of things going on in the museum right now. Two things that are on our immediate radar. One thing I'm really excited about is we have a new exhibit opening. That's something that people are always excited about at the museum.
Sure.
Even at the Carnegie, stays open all winter. We're open Wednesday through Sunday. And we have rotating exhibits. So there are exhibits that come into our galleries, and we have a new one opening this Friday, so that's February 9th, and it's going to be open until the middle of March. It's called A Seat at the Table.
Seat at the table. That sounds like really, I have to say, from a woman's point of view, I want to have a seat at the table.
And that's the idea kind of behind this one. So a lot of people realize, February is Black History Month. So we're working in conjunction with some partners that we've done quite a bit with, which is the Youth Council of the NAACP Port Huron chapter.
Wonderful.
And this is an exhibit specifically for artists of color that are going to come in and put on a chair. That's kind of the theme. It's always fun. This is what I always thought of when I thought of art projects. If you give me just a blank canvas and tell me to make an art project, I'm no good. If you tell me a whole bunch of rules or, this is what it is, that's when you get your creativity going. Is,
okay,
what can you...
narrows it down.
Yeah, and then what can you do to, maybe break those rules or flex them, or, it's always a little bit of a spark,
I like
right?
flexing rules.
So the theme is decorating chairs, seats, and it's an expression of the artist's view of the world, a seat, from their perspective. So it's really cool. So it's a community art exhibit. We've had a lot of success with these in the past, where we provide a platform for outside artists in the community to come in. So it's not like we had a whole bank of decorated chairs in the basement of the museum. It's kind of a niche thing, but to be able to provide that gallery space for that exhibit. So that's going to be an exhibit we have up for nearly a month.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun to come to. And I'm already thinking of some things. What do they do with those chairs then afterward? Could they be floating around the downtown area? Maybe
they very well could. I know they've had some similar exhibits in Southeast Michigan, so some of the chairs have actually stopped at a couple exhibits, and but should be a really fun exhibit. And it's one of the nice things is you can come to the Carnegie for free and see that. We still have free admission there.
Oh, that's wonderful. So Wednesday through Sunday. Free at the Carnegie, right there on what street?
6th and Wall. So the
6th
old, depending on your age, you might remember it as the library. My grandparents still talk about that.
That's the library, yes.
The 6th and Wall.
It's a beautiful building.
It really is.
But in order to have a nonprofit, we need to fundraise. And there's different fun ways, because fundraiser starts with fun. What kind of fun fundraiser is the museum up to?
Yeah, so we're coming up on one of my absolute favorite ones. We looked at our calendar. This is a fundraiser we've done in the past. We are having our community telethon again. And this is going to be our third telethon. So we've had this a couple times. The last couple times, we actually had it in November. It was on Giving Tuesday. But we looked at our calendar like there's so much going on right around after Thanksgiving and between Christmas. And we said, when do we have kind of a bigger gap in our calendar? We said February. We've got this great opportunity. So we're going to be having our telethon Tuesday, February 20th from noon to 8. And it's on Facebook Live. So it's going to be, if you're a fan of the museum on Facebook, even if you're not, you can come to our page and watch that all day. We're going to have a number of different acts coming in, some old favorites. We've got a lot of new folks coming in.
Cool.
One of my favorite things, this is new this year, we're working in conjunction with the Council on Aging to highlight the Port Huron, or the Council on Aging Senior Talent Shows. It's the St. Clair County Seniors.
Wonderful. I love that.
So we've got everything from, I know a guy's playing accordion. I've seen some dancers. They asked for ballroom dancing space. I still don't know all of the talents that are going to be. That's just one segment that we're featuring that day.
So I think of a telethon, we could all go back to, I believe it was Labor Day, And Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis,
You know,
yeah.
24 hours he was out there trying to raise money for muscular dystrophy. And so this idea of a telethon, I think is just really kind of fun. And we're using updated technology by using Facebook Live.
Yeah, and that was the inspiration. We decided the very first time we did this was in 2020, when we all know what 2020 was like. And we said, what can we do for a fundraiser that basically costs us nothing? We have no upfront cost. What can we do? And we realized, what do we do well? What strengths do we have? And we know a lot of people follow the museums on Facebook. They watch our live videos. I liked, giving people little tours around town. We said, how can we kind of use that? We got a great audience, and it turned out to be very, very successful. We've raised tens of thousands of dollars with this telethon in the past. And this year, we always kind of pick somewhere where the money's going to go specifically at the museum to give people an idea. I mean, there's always projects, there's always something. And this year, a lot of it's going towards our camera cabin. So this is the cabin that's actually behind the museum. A lot of people remember this cabin. It's an 1850s original log cabin to Casco Township. So it's not quite from Port Huron, it's from St. Clair County, but we tell the story of the whole Blue Water area. And it's one that was moved to the museum grounds when the original owners, the original family, after several generations, they built a lot of additions, and the additions weren't being used anymore, so they were tearing down the building. They kind of rediscovered this amazing artifact in the middle. And so it's an original 2-room log cabin from some of the German pioneers who were living here in the 1850s.
Wow.
So we use it as part of our school programs.
I have seen that when I've driven by. I've seen kids out there and touring and
it's a
doing things.
really, really amazing artifact. But the thing about log cabins is they were ephemeral. They were never designed to be, they would be amazed if we had a time machine and we talked to the cameras in the 1850s and said, your log cabin's going to be here, 175 years on. They would be amazed that it lasted that long.
Right.
And that's the thing, is some of the logs just need replacement. Some of the chinking, that's the filler material between the logs, needs to be replaced. Just some of that routine maintenance that, log cabins, like I said, they need that upkeep and that maintenance because they were not designed to last this long.
So the telethon's going to raise money to support the programming through this structure.
Yeah,
and we really need to be able to fundraise for that. So tell us again the date.
So the telethon's February 20th. It's a Tuesday from noon to 8 p.m. on our Facebook Live. It's a great variety talent show. We got people from all over the community. You'll probably recognize a lot of faces. People you know are going to be there coming out, and then you can send in your pledges, go online that day. We just want to provide some talent and a good opportunity or excuse for people to give to the museum and keep, I think, a really cool part of our community shared cultural heritage around for another 170 years.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming here today and telling us about this.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us on Spotlight.